probably gonna regret this, but I'm just gonna say, if this video gets 1,500 likes, I will do this dance. Like, I'm probably gonna regret that, but I think just for sheer content and fun, I will do it. Because, like, when I was seeing this entire sequence, like, when I was just watching this episode, I was just like, they didn't need to go this hard for this scene. But they did. They went hard. I mean, the same could be said for the entire episode. But, like, this entire sequence, to the little details behind the scenes, is just outright insane. And I want to take a few moments to talk about it because it's crazy. And I just was like, as soon as I saw this, I couldn't help but just start doing, like, the little jam and dancing with it. I was like, yo, this is cool. It's, like, legit cool. But anyways, as I said, if this video gets 1,500 likes, I will do this dance. Straight up. And maybe eventually I'll buy the costume or something and I'll do that as well. We'll see. We'll do a follow-up on that one later. But anyways, let's talk about this episode. So, here's the thing. This entire dance has so many layers to it because it's like, obviously, it talks about YouTubers creating content, getting your name out there, what's important about being a content creator, and honestly, everything about what was said at the beginning is legitimately very accurate. Like, consistency, being able to just have a good personality, and also collabs are very important, and obviously this whole entire sequence is basically that. You know, our two characters, you know, Ruby and Kana, they are having a collab with Peon, and the whole aspect of this with the green screen in the background adds another layer to it. It just goes to show the details that's kind of put into content creation for YouTube. Like, for a good example here, this green screen in the background is straight up actually the proper color for a green screen. Like, the researchers and the animators that did this definitely knew what they were doing, and if you theoretically wanted, you could actually make a GIF clip of these three characters, just Peon himself, dancing, and cut out all the green and put him and paste him into a scene. Like, you know, with a waterfall behind him or whatever. I feel like in some shape or form, in some weird way, the animators and the staff that was working on this sequence want that to happen. They want people to take this sequence, remove the green from the background, like the green screen, and use it to paste him in different scenes. I have a feeling that was the intention. I could be wrong there, but that's what I'm assuming, because it's so easy to use this now as a green screen. I hope a lot of memes spawn from this, because it actually would be hilarious if that does happen. But anyways, I do want to say that there is just so much care and attention to detail that's put into this episode, and it impresses me greatly just how much Aka-sensei, you know, the author of Oshi no Ko, puts into really kind of giving commentary over the entertainment industry. We've already seen this happen through, you know, the first episode to now the 5th episode with, you know, the toxicity of the idol industry, to just how, you know, like the overall, you know, entertainment industry is very toxic and using people and all that. It's not all sunshine and rainbow, so to speak. You know, there's a lot of layers to it, so to speak. We've seen already. And this episode covers a variety of topics. Like, it covers, obviously, being a YouTuber, it covers, you know, the idol industry once again, and what it means to kind of dive into the idol industry if you're someone that's already kind of established, and also his career that is kind of waning, to also getting to dive into dating shows. And there's multi layers to this, and a lot of different, you know, I guess, directions of entertainment that is being taken here that, you know, has many different ways that could be depicted. Like, you know, dating shows, being a YouTuber, and an idol, they're fundamentally very different. Like, they are. They're all a part of the entertainment industry, but they are very different. And the fact that Aka-sensei is able to tell us such a concise and a really interesting commentary on all this, like how dating shows are not scripted, to just how they're done, and, you know, just basically how someone has to put on a character and all that, and they date for a while, you know, all this type of stuff, to, you know, having, like, the whole waning, you know, career of Kana, and how she, you know, is a freelancer now, and her only choice now is to be an idol, to also just the content creators having a little bit of a spotlight and all that. And I love these two faces. I love just the look of despair and the way they're designed here. You can just see that they do not want to do this, but they're having to do it to get their name out there. Absolutely hilarious designs, by the way. They went too hard on this scene. But back on topic. The point is that I think that it's very clever just how we've had multi-layers of this, and we're able to keep, like, the comedy as well. Like, Aka-sensei is able to keep that comedy aspect and a typical traditional, like, anime feel, while also just giving a lot of context for those that want to see the deeper meaning. There is a lot of deep stuff going on throughout this anime that you can easily overlook. You don't necessarily need to pay attention to it. Like, if you're an average anime watcher that doesn't really want to care about the entertainment industry, you don't have to. You can watch this, series and be fundamentally just happy. You could just enjoy the series of what it's offering and the characters, etc., and the setting. But if you're wanting to dive in deeper, there is just so much going on here, just like I said, this episode alone. But let's talk about a scene in particular that really does stand out, which is this Kana stuff. Now, we've been seeing since basically the first episode that Kana as a character, she was a child actor, very famous, and then eventually because of her attitude and other things outside of her, I guess, control, she eventually started to lose people. She started to lose job opportunities, etc., which caused her current situation where now she's a freelancer and she doesn't really have much, and she's obviously not that rich. It's very clear by just the little imagery we got of her living situation. And so when you see Ruby come up to Kana within this episode, it's very clear that, Ruby automatically knows that she shouldn't technically become an idol, because if she does, any other potential possibility of other opportunities with different, studios, etc., is basically being thrown out the window. And she pretty much admits if she goes down the idol path, she has to go all in. Because if she doesn't, it's the end. And that's basically what happens either way, is that her career obviously has kind of dried up, and she's not getting a lot of opportunities, and so she has to weigh the options. Does she do the risky idol and try to become an idol, or does she stick with what she's been doing and kind of floundering around trying to figure out what she can do to stay afloat? That is basically what she has to decide between, and obviously she chooses to be an idol. Now with her being an idol now, she is taking on the risk of everything we saw from the first episode, the toxicity of the idol industry. For instance, she no longer will be able to have a boyfriend/girlfriend, she'll no longer be able to have children, she'll have to be very careful with any person she's trying to build romantic feelings with, and even hanging out with dudes in the first place. On top of that, because of just how rabid and crazy people can be, someone could potentially come after her life to kill her because they're so obsessed over her. And so, because of all those things we saw in the first episode, Kana will be taking on these risks, but obviously she's weighed the options, and it's very clear that she's chosen that path because there's no other direction that she really can take. It's sad, but as I already said, that if this doesn't go well for her, she's effectively done. But she has no other option at this point to begin with, so she has to go all in. It's all or nothing. So it's pretty sad, but once again, the entertainment industry isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and I think that's what the series obviously is trying to present, is that as much as we want to see happy endings and happiness for a lot of these characters, it's very clear that it's not always like that. That's just reality. That is the harsh reality of the world, and that is what the show is obviously trying to teach us. But besides that as well, I do like the scene with Ruby here, where she basically is saying she doesn't want to lie, which is kind of like the exact opposite of what I was as a character. If you remember, she was someone that piled on lies, had fake expressions, etc. That's who she was as a person, and so seeing Ruby say she doesn't want to lie, it shows her innocence, and how she is fundamentally, completely different from her mother, even though she does look exactly like her. That is something I do want to point out. Now, besides that, I want to reinstate what I already said, that if this video does get 1,500 likes, I will do this dance. I know, I will probably regret saying this in this video, because I'll tell you, I'm not in shape. And so I'm going to be dying like Ruby and Kana is in this entire sequence, but I think it's worth it for the content, and I think it's worth it just for the fun of it. I would love to do it. And another thing as well is, if that video does well, we'll discuss it when that happens. I might get the outfit that Peon is wearing, and I will dance in it. Well, I'm no promise on that one, but we'll see. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I had such a good time watching this episode. Hopefully all of you did as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.